How's it going, guys? Episode 1 of the Atypical podcast. And for episode 1, we've got...
Joe.
So, basically, episode 1, bit of a rookie, so we'll just kind of get into it. So, do you want to tell us a bit about yourself then, Joe?
Yeah, just, been knowing you for a good long while, so you told me you wanted to do this, and I thought it would be nothing better to do than a good laugh. Pretty much what we do anyway, just sit around and talk absolute nonsense, really, innit?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, that's mainly why you're on episode 1. I thought I'll go with the safest bet possible, because me and you can just chat for England. But the only hard part is just we're going to have to contain it now.
Yeah, and keep it going.
I mean, worst comes to worst, if it's too long, I can always just shorten it down.
It's all about learning. It's a new process. Yeah.
If you need a break, just let me know on that.
No worries. Anyone listening to this, I'm sorry if I sound like absolute terrible. I'm very ill at the moment.
Yeah, George decided to do it with an illness. We're both
only a little cough.
We've had a strepsil,
but,
We've had a strepsil. Yeah. We've had a cup of tea, so we should be all right to go. So what do you do then, Joe?
I'm a paintball marshal.
Oh, you're a paintball marshal. So what? So do you just... So a ref?
Yeah, kind of do that and setting everything up, make sure everything's prepared for the day. And just, making sure people keep the goggles on. That's the biggest problem.
What do you... have you had any eye injuries or anything like that? Any crazy little injuries?
Not while I've been there, but when there's been days I've been off, and unfortunately it has happened. Just, I've just always been lucky enough to seem to miss it for some reason.
No, that's how you know you're a good marshal, though. All them days you're not there.
It's just down to luck. It's just down to luck.
Nah, I'm giving it. You should be promoted. So me and you know each other quite well, though, Joe, don't we?
Oh, you do, yeah.
Yeah. So I've been waiting a week to tell you this, but you've been waiting for me to tell you the story about your dad.
You've told me you have a story.
Yeah. So the other week now, I went out for a drink after work and ended up bumping into Joe's dad. Now, Joe, would you describe yourself as a drinker?
No, not at all.
No, not really. No, Joe's dad does like a drink and that. Well, I always bump into him at the pub, at the minimum, and that. So I walk into the pub. In fact, I'll just tell you, Joe. So I walked out back in there into smoking shelter, and I saw your dad sat there talking to his mate. Your dad drinks dark fruit now as well.
Brilliant.
I know. Couldn't get over it. So I'm there going. So I was with two of my mates, and I'm there like one of them who knows you. I'm like, oh, it's Joe's dad. That. I said, it's Joe's dad. I was like, Derek. Nothing. But he looked like he was having a proper conversation with his mate. So I thought, right, I'm not gonna interject. Might be having a moment and that.
No, my dad probably.
Yeah. So eventually,
it was like his little philosophical story to everything.
Yeah.
Everything finishes with an anecdote with my dad. That's pretty much the moral of the story when it comes to my dad. Everything finishes with an anecdote.
Oh, what a sweet bit of foreshadowing. So it got to the point where your dad and his friend had it looked like they'd paused and that because they were having a couple of sips of the drink and that, and your dad started rolling a cigarette. So I just sort of went, you know what, I'll just go full in. I was like, oh, is that my favourite over there? And I thought, I'll throw the full name out there. And he turns round and eyes lit up and that he was well gassed. So we had a chat and that, I asked about his family and he said it were all sweet and that. And then this is where it kind of got a bit weird because then I said to him, so weirdly enough, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but whenever I'm with you around your dad and sometimes your mum, I reference you as Joseph.
Yeah.
Mainly your dad, especially because your dad calls you Joseph. Yeah. So
my mum more recently has started calling me Joe.
It's because you're getting old.
Yeah, it's getting old.
Yeah, so he's just... So he told his mate and that, he's like, oh yeah, he's best friends with my son and that, they're good mates. And then he started telling everyone, he was like, yeah, you've known each other since you were like little height, haven't you? And I'm like...
No.
Little height? And he's like, yeah. Jordan and Joseph went to the same primary school. You went to the same primary school, didn't you? But because he'd had a couple of drinks and that, and he was proper gassed over this and that, saying about how we knew each other and that I thought, I can't just shoot him down. I can't be like, no.
You just went along with it. Please tell me you didn't just go along with it.
Kind
the
of.
worst thing you could have done.
Well, my response so he was like, you two went to the same primary school, wouldn't you? And I was like, yeah, close enough. Yeah, roughly and that.
Close enough, not at all.
So this went on for a good like 10 minutes. I'm not gonna lie, Joe. It went on for a while and that. Nothing actual bad at that. It was just
he's just completely lost in where
I
know you're from.
Yeah, I must just have one of them faces where I've known you for a lifetime type thing.
It does feel like it though, to be honest.
And then obviously after a bit and that, and then he went inside with his mate and that, and our mate that knows you turned around and went, wait, so how long have you known Joe for then? And he just looked at him and went,
college.
16. Yeah.
College.
Like, weirdly enough, we have known each other now for about, 8 years?
I won't lie, I do not know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Around that.
24,
It's gotta
yeah.
be, gotta be around that.
But yeah, it was a mad experience. And then I went to another pub to watch Arsenal, which is weird enough because I don't really watch football. Oh, it was Arsenal versus Southampton.
It's a very weird game to watch.
Yeah, well, my mate...
Although, considering Arsenal are doing quite well in the league, I suppose it would be the team you end up watching.
True, well...
Apart from the fact they're balling at the moment, if Man City currently... I think if Man City win the game that's currently happening today, they'll go top of the league.
Well, I don't know that much about football, Joe. So it was mainly my friend, some of my mates who was like, yeah, we'll go and watch it at the sports bar.
You've been dragged along.
No, I was well excited. I was like, yeah, come on then. But as we were going, I sort of like... Nudge one was like, right, just so I don't like an idiot. Yeah, so who are we supporting and that? Like, so I don't cheer.
Yeah, you make sure you're supporting the right team.
So he said they were kind of leaning on Arsenal, but it weren't really a big thing than that. And then, it were an interesting game, but I ended up just eating my fucking sandwich in though. I had my sandwich and then just... first goal were in less than a minute. Southampton scored within the first minute.
Quite well for Southampton.
Yeah.
I've not kept up with this season, unfortunately, because my team's done pretty bad. So I've just kind of seen it as a write-off this season.
Well, I double-checked, and it actually finished from going 1-0 down, and then 1-1, and it was 2-1 to Southampton before half-time, and it ended 3-3.
Yeah.
So,
again.
Yeah.
Not surprising Arsenal won, considering the way they are at the moment.
The bartender, though, at the sports bar, I walked in, and I asked for a sex on the beach, right? Because I wanted a cocktail, right? It's 4 ingredients, Joe. Vodka, peach schnapps, cranberry juice, and orange juice. Right, this guy tutted inside at me. Now, I'd already had a couple of drinks, so I was in a pretty good mood. So I was like, you know what, I'm not going to cause any crap over this. I was like, you know what, mate, just can I get like a dart fruit then? But I'm definitely ordering sex on the beach next time. So I went up to the bar for the second time. What lady asked me, are you ready to get served? I was like, yeah, he's going to serve me and that. And I made the guy make my cocktail.
Brilliant.
It wasn't a massive thing, but it was a small victory.
It's just one of those things.
But I worked at a bar, bro, and if my manager heard me sigh when or tut when someone ordered a certain drink, it weren't even hard. I should have ordered like a porn star martini or something. But then the downside of that was I would have had to drink that porn star martini.
Oh no, I don't drink alcohol at all, so I have no idea what those drinks are.
I know, you're a disappointment, bro.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Disappointment. So, are you excited for the coronation?
No.
What do you mean, no?
Liz was the only royal for me.
No, Joe. I thought David Attenborough would have gone before Liz, but does it actually make a difference to really? I mean, the notes are going to change. It's just going to be another. And he has waited for so long for this coronation.
It's the first time in a long time people are going to have to swear allegiance to him.
Very true. Very, very true. And it could have been worse. It could have gone to his brother.
Yeah, true.
The nonce.
Yeah, the nonce.
But no, because of the coronation and that, I got well curious about, the English monarchy and stuff like that. So I ended up sat there for a full hour just watching YouTube videos about the monarchy. And literally I could name most of the monarchies from like William the Conqueror to now.
Why?
Just something to do. Well, obviously the coronation was coming up, and I thought,
get bored one day and spend way too long on Wikipedia.
More YouTube, a bit of horrible histories and a lot of YouTube. But like, I did learn some cool stuff though. Like Henry VIII, fellow of 8 wives. Because he was the guy who put in legislation for the heir system. They have so eldest son, then the next eldest son. And then it goes to the girls. He was the one who put that system in. And then it got to... So, we had George I.
Yeah.
Just before we had him, they had a bit of like...
Were you the first German kind of one?
Yeah. Just before him, Parliament was kind of like... Parliament basically sorted it out. So they found an official lineage for the monarchy... Just to sort of stop, like 10th cousin removed and people like that trying to claim it.
Pretty much trying to stop civil wars happening and stuff like that.
Yeah, they picked a bird called Sophia of Hanover.
Interesting.
Basically she was a grandchild of James I. So that's where her legitimacy came from.
She just literally plucked out of nowhere though.
Low-key, yeah. But it was literally just sort of, they looked at the tree and just sort of went, right, who's the closest, like, in the narrow version of things. And then, well, even weirder as well, because like I said, George I was the German one. I'm 99% sure he's the reason we have the Prime Minister as well. Because he could barely speak English. And I think
somehow he ended up ruling the country.
Yeah, some guy that I'm kid you not, I bet you the first Prime Minister just sort of swindled this guy and was like, do you want me to become Prime Minister? And the guy was just like, what's he saying? Yeah, go on then. But yeah, I just ended up watching loads of videos and random shit like that.
It's good to know history though.
It is, but it's not going to get me anywhere.
It's where we learn from our mistakes and stuff like that.
You ever get kidnapped? Gun to your head? Like, Joe, the monarchy, one phone call. Jordan, straight away, lad. Straight away.
In what circumstance am I ever going to be in a situation like that?
You never know. You never bloody know, my man. You never know.
People are quite psycho these days.
That is very true. That is very true. Right, so before we did this, I asked you for like a good film to watch. So something I've not watched and that's something we could talk about. Decent film and that's in your recent memory.
Yeah, I told you the Menu.
And you went with the Menu.
With Ray Fiennes. Oh, what's the guy called who plays Beast?
Oh, don't do this to me. I know because he plays Tony in Skins.
Look it up.
Because he's R in That Warm Bodies. He's in Mad Max. This fella gets about,
He's a good actor.
Yeah, but why can't I remember his name?
Nicholas Hoult.
Nicholas Hoult. Of course, it's like the most English name going. So, I have a couple. I mean, it were a decent film. So
it takes a while to get going, and by the time it gets going, it's literally so far out of nowhere. You feel like your brains have been splattered on the floor.
Yeah. So, do you mind if I give a quick, brief premise of the film?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I literally watched it today, and if you want to interject or any word, shoot in.
Knock yourself out.
So it follows Nicholas Hoult and this woman who I do not know the actress's name.
Anna Taylor-Joy.
There we go. Joseph got it. And they've paid to go on this exclusive restaurant.
Yeah.
Which entails your standard cliche mystery of the.
He's like a super top Michelin chef, like the best, kind of like a riff on your Gordon Ramsays and all them kind of side.
Yeah.
But the idea is he's super far removed at this point with high society, and he just hates cooking for these people that he's lost his passion for cooking.
Yeah. So it's based. So his restaurant's on an island, and that
like a little island on its own.
No phone signal.
No phone signal.
No
stereotypical kind of horror film kind of setup.
Yeah. And they get to this restaurant, and at first it very much just seems like he's a bit crazy about the food.
Yeah.
Like he wants people to enjoy the food.
Yeah.
Instead of
he goes for this whole thing about how. In the past with bread, peasants ate bread and stuff like that. It was like a peasant food, for the lower class, and how we've lived off it for centuries, and how because he's cooking for these super rich kind of these rich people, the 1% basically, and he's saying they're above bread, and he just gives them little tiny scoops of sauce and says you've just got to eat that. And stuff like that. You really get the idea that this guy is completely lost it at times, especially with some of the scenes with the girl character by Anna Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, so as well as the Nicholas Hoult and
Anna Taylor-Joy,
you've got an old man and an old woman.
Yeah.
You also throughout the film you start seeing that these people are not the squeaky clean. And
you kind of learn that they're all kind of got the nose dirty.
So you got an old guy and his wife. He has affairs.
He has affairs and. Spoil the film. Anna Taylor-Joy's character is actually a prostitute.
Yeah.
Who's been hired by Nicholas Hoult because his date just kicked him off.
Well, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. And it turns out the husband recognises her, Anna Taylor-Joy's character, and it turns out he did weird kind of paedophilic stuff with her.
Yeah,
it's very kind of really creepy.
Yeah, she looks like his daughter or something.
Yeah, it looks like his daughter, and asked him to perform fellatio and tell him he's a good dad.
Yeah, you've got. The food reviewers.
You got two of you. Who's Nicholas Hoult very much, and there's them the two magazine people.
Yeah, you got the woman who's the main one, and then the guy who just gaslights her all the time. She says, "Oh, this is a lovely type of chicken," and he's the loveliest, and she's like, "Well, maybe not the loveliest," and he's like, "No, not the loveliest." Yeah, that type of gaslighting.
You got the failed actor,
and his assistant.
Yeah, and his assistant, and for some reason his mum's just sat in the corner and getting absolutely wankered off her face on booze. You
got your three Chads.
The three Chads, who business savvy people, stock market brokers, stuff like that.
They work for the chef's boss.
Yeah.
And that's how they're there. So yeah, they end up having like the meals and that, and then at first they just sort of seem like expensive, weird dishes, like super small, like bits and that. They have pate and bread without bread.
It's like the pretentious food that you see all the time on like Instagram, Facebook, and stuff like that. But like taken to like the 100% extreme, and like you learn that like he's lost like his passion for cooking. Like all the food's cold and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and like by the end of the film, you know he kind of reignites his passion for cooking because you makes him cook a cheeseburger.
Well, you just skipped over half.
We'll get to that though. Yeah, we'll get to it.
So there are other people, and then it's just your standard meal and that, and then it comes up to this, like, he does this little ceremonial piece throughout of it. All the waiters and the staff and that are devoted to this guy.
They worship
like
the crown he walks on.
Yeah. And he brings up one of his sous chefs, and he's like, "Oh, this one's called the Mess."
This is like after like we've had like 2 meals, by the way.
Yeah, and you start thinking
we've had like the starter and like maybe like
the main first
entree,
course.
First entree. I don't
know
food logic.
They had about
6 entrees.
Yeah.
So we get to, it's like the third one. It's the third one.
And then one of the sous chefs basically shoots himself in the middle of the
he kind of sets it all up, and it's called like the Mess. And like he talks to this sous chef, and he's like, "Oh, you've seen my life, and like you worship the ground that I want off. But would you want my life?" And the guy turns around and says, "No." But he says, "You devoted to me." He says, "Yeah." Well, and then like all of a sudden he just kind of sticks a gun in his mouth and takes his life, and like everyone freaks out.
But then that's where you start seeing the weird stuff, though.
Yeah, this is where it kind of goes from like kind of like a psycho thriller type of film and goes kind of full horror.
Yeah, because then Nicholas Holt's character, he's just continues.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to faze him, and you kind of learn that that character kind of knew the whole kind of premise along. He knew people were going to die. He was the only one to actually know that.
Yeah, and then, long story short, it's just we follow the woman. It centers around the woman.
Yeah,
and then what's her name again?
Anna Taylor-Joy.
I
don't know why you have to say her full name. That's just her name, though.
Yeah. So she wasn't meant to be there. She's like replaced someone else who was meant to go with Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah.
And the waiter staff and the chef start being a bit dodgy. The chef realizes she's like a prosy.
She's like a normal person, basically.
Yeah, and tries to get him on their side.
Yeah.
And then she ends up getting into the chef's private house and into his like little secret room. And this is what really got me, which is what I liked about the ending. She sees loads of pictures of him from like his career and that, of him like cooking food in front of restaurants.
Never smiling.
He's miserable. And then there's one of him as a kid working at
but it's next to his bedside. It's like a little bedside picture.
Yeah, and it's like him working like making a hamburger. And
it's his news article, I believe, in something like that. Yeah.
And then she goes back in and like calls him a crap cook. Says you've got no passion and that. Basically blames him.
She goes. She plays all the cards basically and hopes for the best.
Yeah, and then she flips. She flips the cards on him and says, "I'll craft food," and says she wants him to make...
She says she's still starving, hungry.
Yeah, so she asks him to make a cheeseburger, and then this is where it started going. It went a bit weird for the ending. It was sort of the fact that she had one bite and then went, "Oh, I'm a bit too full now. Can I have it as a takeout?" And he just went, "Yeah, no worries." And then just got the takeout. And she fucked off.
What it's trying to say is that she pretty much reignited his passion for cooking by making him cook a cheeseburger and like sending him back to his roots.
But they all died.
But they all died. Like he's still fucking psycho and he wants to kill all these people. He can't exactly let him go because he's going to go to prison. So he might as well kill himself and all these people.
Right. Can I tell you the bit I liked?
Go on.
So you know,
Nicholas Holt's character. Yeah. Going to go into
how we find out. So you find out that he knew all about this, the death, the food and that and all this stuff. That's why he's so weird about it and that. And then the chef sort of calls out on his bullshit.
Yeah.
And turns around and in front of everyone and goes, "Right,
come on, cook."
Yeah, cook me a meal. And do you know what gets me? So he cooks some lamb in like a spinach and like onion sauce and that.
He doesn't even cook the lamb properly, so it's raw lamb, raw vegetables, and it's pretty much just raw lamb and raw vegetables covered in butter. That's essentially what his meal is.
Yeah, and it even says like the dish is called Tyler's bullshit.
Tyler's bullshit.
And then he hangs himself.
Yeah.
Well, this is what gets me, bro, because you said there'd be cannibalism. Where was the cannibalism?
Did I say there were cannibalism?
Yeah, you said there were cannibalism.
I don't remember saying there were cannibalism.
Because at first, when he's making the cheeseburgers, I started thinking, it's going to be Tyler, isn't it? It's going to be Tyler in the burgers.
That would have been really creepy if that were the case.
Yeah,
I can see why that ending disappointed you now.
A bit or two that I didn't like. The reasoning the chef had for most of them people being there. Like that guy, the actor, and he went, "Why am I here?" Why is he there? And the chef turned around and was basically like, because I watched a film on my day off and I didn't like the film and it ruined my day off.
But I think it's just kind of proved that this guy was going to turn psycho even if he didn't fucking enjoy his job of cooking.
Right, so but then that gets me, and then his assistant would, have you got any student loans? No. Then you're going to die. I couldn't tell if he was telling her like, well, I know you've got a terminal illness, you're going to die anyway. Or if he just went, you've got no student loans, dead. The douchebags were just douchebags.
Yeah, they were just douchebags.
Yeah, it was like out of all that company, and obviously he kills his boss. What he just picks them 3 douchebags.
Well, they were stealing from him. They were stealing from the boss.
Or
they were stealing from him. They,
they
were embezzling money and stuff
like
that.
Then the chef should have been on their side. We're stealing out of his pocket. He killed the boss. That's worse. Where was his weird little flapjack with that on?
That's a good point. Man.
Yeah. What else? The guy who got the guy who was the affair guy who got ended up getting his finger cut off. His wife did fuck all.
Pretty much, yeah.
She did nothing.
She's the one who tells Anna Taylor-Joy's character just go on.
Yeah,
you can go. Don't worry about us.
It had the stupid twist with the Coast Guard. I saw that coming from a mile off, and that I was like,
what, being a stripper?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was so many points I thought that made that whole cheeseburger thing and that even after that they were still gonna kill her. And then I don't know if you saw it this way, but did he let her live so then she could obviously tell people what happened?
I think he let her live just because she didn't deserve it, and it's just kind of that kind of bullshit.
It was an alright film, Joe.
It's a good film, and it's a film that doesn't need a sequel, and it's probably going to get a sequel.
Nah, hopefully not. I'm not going to lie.
It doesn't need one, but I can see it getting a sequel like 3 or 4 years down the line.
Oh, yeah. Made a note. Why do the customers, by the end of the programme, because like we said, all the sous chefs and the servants are that devoted to the chef.
Why do they turn themselves into marshmallows?
No. The chef turns around, when he turns around, he goes, I love you, and they all just go, we love you too, chef. By the end of it, bro, he says, I love you, and the customers say, I love you too, chef. And then, when they were all getting dressed up as marshmallows, at one, it made me starving. I was like, that looks delicious.
I bet it's really painful that, though, to be turned into a marshmallow.
But then I kind of saw it coming when they were, like, putting, like, the sauce and everything around them. I can't. To me, it was very much...
Smart to do, like, Dynamite with the cinnamon, though.
True, but I feel like I've seen that type of story so many times. You know your standard, take them to a random island.
Yeah, it's very tried and true horror trope kind of film, but it's kind of given like kind of a story behind it with, like just losing your passion for something and going kind of nuts with it.
Also, the only person who knew about that whole thing, Nicholas Holt's character, was the only actual guest who died before the last meal as well.
Yeah.
None of the other guests died until right at the end.
Yeah, which means he was probably that was probably personal for the chef character.
It was the most satisfying.
I imagine it was
It was the most satisfying
because you really kind of click on the Tyler. What's it called? Nicholas Holt's character is just like the worst of the worst, like just an actual arsehole.
Do you want to play a little game, Joe?
Go ahead.
I got a couple of would you rathers, and that. So. I'll go with 2 or 3, and I won't do them all because I've got like 8, and I'll save some for another day. So, my first one is just an easy one for you. Would you rather have spaghetti for hair? We'll go cooked spaghetti.
Cooked spaghetti, so I can eat if I get hungry.
Yeah, or sweat mayo.
Oh.
And we're talking
wait.
Wait.
Does the mayo smell? Does the mayo smell like sweat?
No, it's just mayo. Yeah, it's just mayo.
Is it just normal mayo? Like it's not more wet or anything?
No.
Like it's just standard mayo?
In fact, I'm changing my mind on the spaghetti as well. The spaghetti's dry. It only goes
so it's rigid?
Yeah, the only time it goes soggy is after you've had a shower.
I go for the spaghetti and I'll just be bald. I've got a bad hairline anyway, so I'm going to be bald at some point in my life, so I'll just take the spaghetti and go bald.
We wouldn't have cut each bit.
Yeah, just snap it off. It's like, spaghetti dried.
Alright,
if I ever get hungry or stranded on an island, I just grow my hair out, stick it in the ocean, I've got nice salty spaghetti.
What's a side note for this one? What's your worst, like your least favourite advert jingle? Like what advert would you just hate listening to when it comes on?
I don't really know. I kind of just tune them all out.
No, it's like it's overplayed, or like, no, you don't go compare, or
No, I just can't.
Patreon.com,
No, I tune them all out.
Well, an annoying...
Whenever adverts come on, I just pull my phone out and scroll through YouTube, and then I put it away.
Alright then. So
I don't have adverts. They don't exist to me. I have other media to entertain myself.
Right, I changed them. Would you rather have Justin Bieber's Baby playing continuously in the back of your mind, so it's not like blaring,
so having it stuck in your head constantly?
Yeah, or for the rest of your life, or Baby Shark?
Either one leads to my suicide.
You gotta pick one.
Baby Sharks, it'll be a less painful suicide.
Go Baby Shark.
Baby Shark.
Baby Shark.
Less painful suicide. That's my excuse.
Right. Bit of a darker one. I asked Ethan this on Ethan's podcast. Off the ward. I'm gonna put it in the comment box and that, so everyone can see that as well. And the description. He said an S then and threw me off then. Put it in the description, because I also do that with Ethan. Yeah. So, would you rather be responsible for the death of one child or 3 adults?
3 adults.
Oh, jeez, you jump right straight. Alright then, jump.
Easy.
So you go for more the serial killer type of vibe. Alright then.
Put them all in a blender.
Alright. Would you rather have 2 belly buttons or 1 nipple?
Two belly buttons.
Just next to each other or on top of each other. Like what? Like horizontally or vertically?
On top of each other, and I'd have like the most like erratic kind of piercing ever. Like it loops into itself. Just like a figure of 4.
Right. Last one, and I'll segue this into what else I want to talk about with you. Would you rather, for the rest of your life, talk like Yoda or Darth Vader?
So either have asthma or something wrong with my mind.
Well, there is an actual term of how Yoda speaks. It's like putting verbs or something first, but yeah. Oh no, you do the yeah.
I mean, I'm practically doing that now in my sleep.
And you do the tone of voice as well. So either
so I'm like this all the time.
Yeah. Joe, would you like a brew?
Be one with the Force, you are.
A brew, I would like. So which one would you go for?
I'll go with the Yoda.
You go with Yoda.
Go with Yoda. I'm guessing it's going to go into Mandalorian.
Oh yes, you know. What did you think about the ending of Mandalorian?
See, I enjoyed it. I think for like a transitional season, it's fine. It's a bit messy. But I think it's just... It really shows that like Jon Favreau really didn't want Baby Yoda being put back with Din Djarin straight away.
True. My mum...
It's still the biggest mistake. And obviously it was obviously done for, merchandise reasons. You can't take away probably the most sellable character off the show.
True, and they have very much pleased the Star Wars fan base.
Yeah.
Because my mum made a very good point, because she doesn't watch Star Wars. She just watched Mandalorian for...
A lot of kind of people that happen to be honest. Like a lot of people just kind of watch Mandalorian because of Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough.
Cowboy in space type shit. And my mum said like she just wasn't keen on the season because it was just sort of...
It felt very dedicated to like hardcore Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like so you have like Bo-Katan from the Clone Wars coming into this, which we're about to talk about because you've been watching that recently on my recommendation. Mm-hmm. The Darksaber again from being from like Rebels and again Clone Wars, and that just kind of having a whole lineage. Baby Yoda itself is kind of a shout out to the...
You mean Din Grogu?
Din Grogu, not Baby Yoda.
Why is Din Djarin's name backwards? Like, when all I can imagine is some people sat in a room and they just sort of went... Yeah, a big whiteboard that went Din Grogu.
So his name's not...
Grogu
So his last name's Din. So his first name Djarin?
Yeah, that's what I'm being led to believe.
Yeah.
And
so all this time we've been calling him Din. We should be calling him Djarin.
Yeah. No wonder they all call him Mando.
Yeah.
Djarin is the... Oh, no. I don't even know. I don't know. I think they could have made it a bit better while still keeping it safe.
I like the theory that... Oh, did you see that picture I sent you where Grogu killing Moff Gideon's been prophesized as rebels?
Yeah.
That's so weird. So I was just scrolling through Twitter and I saw like a post from like a Star Wars fan account and it talked about like... it was like a screenshot of like you know, a picture of one of the characters, and behind it you see like a mural of like a Yoda-like species blowing someone up, and we've kind of seen that now. It's just really weird because obviously Dave Filoni has written both shows, but it's kind of weird that that's been there since that long.
Yeah, it does. They are very clever with that type of shit.
Yeah,
though. Like I really like the thing with the Clone Wars, the TV show,
with it being in like an anthology series.
No, with Howard. Is it something like General Grievous? He says something.
Oh yeah, he never
film.
meets. Yeah, so in Revenge of the Sith, he says, "Oh no," Anakin Skywalker says, "I expected you to be taller." Kind of hinting that these characters had never met before.
Yeah, so the
very weird because, you know, a 3-year war had been raging on this whole time and they're on opposite sides, but, you know.
Yeah, so literally, the guy who created it just couldn't add them two characters. So if you watch the series, a lot of the time
it's just kind of miss each other at times.
Obi-Wan versus Grievous and Dooku versus Anakin.
Yeah, or you'd see him fight Ventress, which was being Dooku's apprentice.
Yeah, I know that shit. I know that stuff.
What do you think of the Clone Wars anyway? What have you got up to in that anyway?
I won't lie, I'm not that far into it. It's just because I have to put the effort in, sort of. I can't just sort of watch an episode and then wait for the next one to play.
Because you're watching it in chronological order, aren't you? Because it's an anthology series, so it's all kind of different kind of time periods in each episode.
Yeah.
It works for itself if you kind of do it, but it's kind of cool that you can watch it in kind of order.
I don't like it at all, bro. I don't like it at all. I don't, because it was very much aimed at teenagers, which I respect, and that's why I think as a young adult I can still watch it.
I think what it's done for the clones is crazy, considering they were just some, you know, especially considering in the first film the Clone Wars was just a throwaway line by Alec Guinness in A New Hope, and then it turned into the prequels, and then now the clones are like these massive fan favourite characters with their own shows and that. Even
though the guy who plays the live action clothes, Dingy Morrison, got stung over with the fact he wasn't in the Mandalorian ending.
Yeah.
It's like...
bit of a weird one.
He just still sat on Tatooine just like...
Yeah, pretty much.
What's going on with the rest of the Mandalorians in the universe?
It would have been nice to have, like, you know, him come and join the is it Covert that it's called? Just a Covert? Yeah.
Yeah, just the Mandos, really.
Yeah.
Just the Mandalorians at the moment, because you've got the Night Owls and the Children of the Watch.
Yeah, so they're just kind of becoming... Well, have they taken back Mandalore now? That was they have taken back Mandalore. Yeah,
they live there.
They live there now.
So what? Do you know what makes me laugh though? I don't know what the planet's called, but you know when they came to save that little city and that, and the guy was like, "Oh, we'll give you some land."
With Jet Black and that. With Carl Weathers' character.
Yeah. And they're like, yeah, cool, we'll give you some land in that. These are our new protectors, the Mandalorians.
And then they just leave.
And then they back off. They just get lost.
Maybe something like, you know, because you do see, you know, when they go back to Mandalore, one of those ships is missing. They are missing like one of those little kind of smaller ships, you know, the medium size. One ship's missing from that fleet.
You've also reminded me. So, you know the Starfighter thing they had?
Yes.
It's probably got a proper name that I don't know.
Yeah, I can't tell you that.
So that we're gonna say predictably that could hold a couple of thousand people. Take a couple of at least 100 people.
But that one guy can fly it himself.
Yeah. Now this is what gets me. Like, I know he crashed, but it seemed like that was a very accurate crash.
Yeah.
So Ethan.
So I imagine for what other people are there for, it's like life support, weapons,
mopping the floor,
making
food,
boarding parties.
I'm just convinced.
I'm guessing it's just like an actual ship, like an actual navy ship.
No, I'm just predicting everyone does its utilities.
Because you only really need like an engine crew and a guy at the helm to pilot a normal ship these days, like a boat.
Even rubber ding. Oh, to be fair, and then obviously smaller ships and that. I can kind of understand. I just think it's a bit bullshit that one guy can actually... It's not like he even set like a motion for it to sort of like... He was like, right, I'm setting the engines. He just sort of went... do with some wires and that.
Well, you know, because it kind of cuts away, so we don't actually know if he programmed it or if they just happened to hit the fucking Star Destroyer over the base and it just crashed into base because those Imperial pilots are just incompetent.
True, and
it wouldn't surprise me if the Imperial pilots are incompetent, to be honest.
He would have had to be below atmosphere before he could have targeted the base because of the disturbance with the stuff around Mandalore, wouldn't he? He couldn't have targeted from space.
Yeah.
So he would have had from like below atmosphere to the actual hull. And do you know what gets me as well, right? So, do you know how they had the episode Spies? I don't know if I've mentioned this.
There was only one spy, and it's at the very beginning. And they still shouldn't have spent the full episode of that 1 hour episode on Coruscant.
Yeah.
It should have been broken up that in between episodes. Should have been broken up in between episodes.
Even her whole bit about telling Moff Gideon about the Mandalorians completely irrelevant. Could have had an extra scene of Grogu walking or cooing or something. You know what I mean?
We also got teased of Grogu speaking. That never happened.
Oh no! Right. So I don't know how many loopholes that Din Djarin can jump through, but it's like we never take off our mask. It's a sin. I took off my mask. Right now, you need to go and find this place. It's a bit hard, but you need to bathe yourself in these waters, and you can have your mask back on. Right? No worries. I want what is basically my son to become an apprentice. Yeah, but he can't say the oath. Yeah, but I'll adopt him. Then he's now your apprentice. Even Tar Vizsla's son had to get baptised. We'll just call it baptised because it's easier.
Baptised again.
Twice.
Yeah.
Because he got kidnapped halfway through his, and he even said
No, he didn't get kidnapped through his baptism.
Yeah, the thing grabbed him.
No, that's later on. His baptism when he gets attacked by that big massive alligator.
Oh yeah, he gets.
So he's been baptised. Yeah, he's been baptised twice, but only this time he's been baptised in actual Mandalorian water. I think that's kind of why they baptised him again.
I hate it. I don't hate it. You put it very good when you messaged me about it before I watched it. And just went, they've just played it very, very.
It was the safest as they could have played it. Like there was no real cameos. Like there was no Thrawn. A lot of people thought Thrawn was going to appear at the end.
Yeah, I'm just name dropped.
No, he wasn't even. Oh yeah, he was name dropped in that.
Episode.
Yeah, in the council scene. Yeah, there were no cameos. It kind of played it safe. It was like I said, the show in and of itself was very messy. It also felt very short. I feel like we didn't get as many episodes this time. I don't know if that's true, but it really felt very short and very kind of. It just felt really rapid. Like, okay, we really need to just get to the end of this story now and just move on.
Yeah, they set too much stuff up as well.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to the next season. They're going back to, a different episode, different bounty.
Yeah, kind of get that idea that it's going back to kind of the basics of season 1.
As long as there's still the underlying storyline that he's training Grogu. For example, he teaches Grogu how to use a gun, right?
Yeah.
I know he's not going to in the first episode. I expect them by, the third episode to see Grogu kind of using the gun.
like a sort of blaster type.
Yeah, it's sort of something that people who are watching it in a row can kind of go, oh look, when he used that little dart gun thing.
Yeah.
If that's his first little Mandalorian weapon in the next season, I'll be happy with that because then that's
just add it onto the Force as well.
Yeah,
because Grogu's using the Force kind of well, to be honest. He's not overusing the Force.
He's a pussy though.
You know my hot take on Star Wars is the Jedi and the Sith are the worst part about Star Wars. Not that they're bad. It's just they are the worst genuine part of Star Wars.
Well, that's the thing, bro.
Like the galaxy itself, like the bounty hunter stuff, like the Imperial War and the Rebels. All of that stuff is so much better than what we actually get for Jedi. That can be changed if we get good films about Jedi. It's just our media of Jedi is very bad at the moment. I think Ahsoka can change that. What's coming out soon?
I did watch,
even though she's not technically a Jedi.
I did watch a video though saying about how, with how big the galaxy is meant to be in Star Wars, a war between, say, even 50% of the planets in that galaxy could impossibly not last longer than 50 years. It would have to be it couldn't be a minimum of 50 years. If it was a galaxy,
yeah,
just with how big it is and all the people that would be involved.
But I guess you've got the hyperspace because that's.
No, not time, bro. Just in general, just with how many people is. You got to think with how big the galaxy is. And how many people you've got in that. So, for example, how long did you say the Clone Wars was?
3 years.
So 3 years, the full, basically a massive civil war up to the galaxy. It took only 3 years to solve. I know Palpatine was good.
It was all kind of orchestrated. It's all orchestrated with the Clone Wars.
I know that he was good, bro, but...
Yeah.
But even still, though, after all...
It's still not as bad as Palpatine returns, though.
No, true. But even then, though, bro, there's always still people, apart from maybe the Separatists, but there's always, the Empire's still plottering about.
Yeah.
They're still there, but you're telling me the war was only 3 years with the Separatists, and all the Separatists have gone in them 3 years. I know it was based on Dooku.
I know, we suddenly saw, a Separatist return in The Mandalorian with,
No, that was just Doc Brown, that.
Yeah. But it's just weird that, at that point, a Separatist is being brought back into the fold. It's just you are so far removed. What are you doing here, my friend?
I know, lad. I know.
You are fighting a losing battle. It was cool to see B1s again and B2s, battle droids again in live action. It was very cool to see that again. Also, if B2 battle droids moved that fast during the war, I would not want to fight them. Especially wearing a clone helmet where you can barely see.
That one running away seemed too OP.
Yeah, like imagine like 5 of them running at you.
A fully qualified Mandalorian just about caught up.
Yeah. Have you played Jedi Survivor yet?
The new one? Or
the new one. Jedi Survivor, the new one.
No, not yet.
So I've been playing it. I think it's pretty good. A lot of people have been having like performance issues on PC, but I've had no issues on my PlayStation, to be honest.
Did you get it on disc or digital?
I've got it digital.
Yes, I think I'll have a little dabble of it. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a pretty good game.
I can't believe you've... I'm so sorry to interrupt you, bro, but you can't wait until now to mention that. So go on, yeah, because I saw them... It was really laggy on for PC.
It's fine on console. I've had no issues on my PlayStation. I've had like a couple of frame drops, not a lot, maybe like 1 or 2. I can't lie, I've played 1 full day of the game and I've done nothing but exploring. Like, it's such a fun game to just explore. Like, imagine it's the exploration of an Uncharted game, but it's all open world.
See, right, no, I'm a bit of a sucker for open world, especially that's what got me into Dark Souls
So you
games.
know how in the first game it's kind of like little tiny maps set all over multiple different planets?
And you can't fast travel or anything.
Well, you can fast travel now.
Yes.
You can fast travel. If you go to a meditation point, you can fast travel to another meditation point.
Yes.
There's kind of just one big massive hub world called Kobo, with kind of like it's huge, Jordan, like stupidly huge. Also, the game's 147 gigabytes, so I start downloading it now if you want to play it tomorrow.
Well, I can't download it exactly this moment because all that people will hear after that is just because it's loud as hell.
Take your discs out. If you don't have a disc and it doesn't make that noise, that's something I discovered recently.
Oh, see, I actually COD it.
Yeah, I've recently discovered if you take your disc out when you're booting up your PlayStation, it's 10 times quieter.
So have you... Right, so
I'm not that far through the game. I've only done 2 kind of boss fights, like story boss fights. I've had I've met the kind of High Republic Jedi. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
We've seen the first on-screen appearance of someone corrupting a crystal.
Right, don't give me too.
No, I'm not. But I just find it mad that it's taken a video game for us to see someone corrupt the kyber crystal of a lightsaber.
But we've seen someone purify one.
We've seen someone purify one, but we've not seen one corrupt one.
That's cool.
And it's just kind of bad that it's in a video. It's a shame that apparently Disney have no plans to make Cal Kestis appear in like a TV show or a movie. That's
such a wasted opportunity. The fact that it's literally spits to
because he's actually really, really good in this game.
Have you seen the little trailer that he did with Mark Hamill?
Yeah, it's really funny.
They were quite sweet. They were really sweet.
The customization you've got on Cal Kestis is really good.
That's the main thing.
You can change his hair. I've already got mine in clone boots. Mine wears clone boots.
Mullet.
You can get a mullet. I've got like a top bun.
Hulk Hogan tash. I've already planned it, me bro. Is he still ginger?
He's still ginger. You can't change his hair colour, unfortunately.
Oh, we've got lightsabers. We got blasters. We've got fucking the Force.
I'm using a cyan blade. The reason I choose to use a cyan blade is because he naturally has a blue saber, but I think it's kind of closer to white, so it kind of looks like a purified kind of blue saber, but not super purified. Sorry. But yeah, it's a good game. I'm really enjoying it. I'd recommend getting it on console. This is the longest payoff I've ever had in my life, with PC players being really screwed over, with video games being really shit, being like someone who's always played console video games. Like PC games just don't work straight away anymore.
PC Master Race.
They just don't work anymore. You have to wait like a month. But like someone pointed out, like by the time you've waited that month, you can get the game for like half price on Steam, so it kind of works out.
That's true. There's also new Transformers.
Yeah.
Big into Transformers. That is the one I want to say, because when we watched the trailer, they've actually they're doing Unicron.
Yeah, so it's... My opinions on it are kind of up in the air at the moment. I have to see kind of how they do it in the film.
You're a big fan of Transformers.
Yeah, I like Transformers. It's the best time to be a Transformers fan right now, to be honest, because we've got this film, which looks really good. We've got like another animated film with Chris Hemsworth being cast as Optimus Prime, which is really weird.
I like how you're saying you're in charge of this stuff. I'm talking the Dave Filoni of Transformers right here.
But yeah, with the Unicron thing, I think because it's a new trilogy of films, it's not being based off the Michael Bay films and not the Bumblebee films, kind of its own trilogy. I think it's a bit early to do Unicron. Considering it's being set up as a Unicron trilogy, it's gonna be interesting to see where it goes. But yeah, I'm really excited to see that film. It looks good.
Well, if you've got a spare £30, you can get a big Unicron Pop Funko, one of the big ones, in game. Every time I see it, I always think I should get that for Job, and I think I've
nowhere to put it.
I've not got 30.
Where would I put it?
Sleep with it. Put it in your bed with you. It'd be that big.
Just give it Henry. Henry being my dog.
Have you heard about Springer?
Springer new.
Jerry Springer?
Oh, Jerry Springer, yeah.
I know.
I thought you meant the Transformer Springer.
Oh, right. See, that's still on Transformer. Yeah, Jerry Springer's passed away.
It's good. Yeah, I saw something about it on thing. It's just...
Bro, I loved his fucking...
I never really watched Jerry Springer.
No, you didn't.
No, I was more of a Jeremy Kyle guy.
Right, they were both fake, easily enough. Jeremy Kyle was, like, Britishly fake, but that's what made Jerry Springer so good.
Well, what, it was American fake?
Yeah, it was literally American fake. Like, it was just crazy stuff, like... I don't know if this is a meme or something, because it pops up recently, it was like, someone went on who was blind, and the partner was a white guy, or a black... Basically, the partner was pretending to be a different race. And somehow it took to going on television and that, you know, if you think it's real, for him to go, no, I'm actually the opposite, like, race, and them go, what? You've been lying to me? But yet make a perfect V-line straight towards the person. Because they're blind. I'm just going to double check now. Right.
It's got to be in, like, his 78s.
79. It was the big C.
Ah, yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah. Pancreatic cancer.
That's just life, though, unfortunately. You got to move on.
And he was a former mayor as well.
He was a mayor?
He was a mayor, bro.
So he really did just have people constantly shouting, Jerry, Jerry, Jerry.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me where it came from. Well, there's also that, I think it's called the Steve Wilkos show. He was like a bodyguard of Jerry Springer, and then he got his own show, and literally did the exact same thing, but the set was more set like Jeremy Kyle, but it had Jerry Springer quality of just trash.
Have you ever seen that clip of, I think it's like on Judge Judy or something, where it's like, so you know, like you've got like the bailiff or something, and they're talking about a guy who's been married, he's like, is he married? He's like, yeah. They're like, nah, he's not enjoying his marriage. He never looked happy. And it turns out like that the bailiff that they were talking about beat his wife to death.
No, he did that afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, no, because he's like, is he married? And he's like, yeah, and he goes, he don't look happy.
Yeah, he don't look happy.
Like that, it comes up like murdered his wife and kid and stuff like that.
Fucking crazy.
I don't know, I'm laughing about stuff like that.
No, but...
Random another little question.
I have dark sense of humour.
Because I actually nearly had a fight with Ethan over this question. I put you in a warehouse.
Okay.
Open warehouse.
Okay.
Just you, casual. No, nothing weird, bro. Just an open space. I start letting in 5-year-olds 2 minutes at a time. How many do you reckon you could take out before they overwhelm you? Oh. Just your standard 5-year-old. I'm not sending in no like overweight or Jackie Chan like.
I'm trying to think how long it take me before I get tired. How many like sweet chin music it take me before I get really tired or pull a muscle.
That's the main like. It's the endurance aspect for me.
I could probably kick 10 5-year-olds in the head
before they overwhelm you.
Before they overwhelm me, yeah.
See, my theory is first one. Obviously, you have a couple of digs on a couple. You know, as they come, that warm yourself up, limber up, and then as you're getting tired, you grab the closest one, and then you'll win the round up. You just
do a Cesaro spin.
Yeah. You just spin this kid around, and as soon as this kid's too beat up, you throw him and you grab another one. And literally, they're doing the work for you
until you throw up on the kid.
All you've got to do then is not get dizzy. Start using them, just get 2 by the ankles, nunchucks.
Oh.
So you give me a good answer then to that. Ethan was like unlimited, and I was like, you couldn't take
just go for the rest of the time.
Yeah.
Sounds like something Ethan would say.
I was like, Ethan, if 4 of them 5-year-olds jumped on your back, would you be able to like shake them off? He was like, yeah, I'd be able to walk around. I had to Google the average weight of a 5-year-old, times that by 5, and was like, Ethan, that's heavier than me. If I jump on your back,
you are as nothing but skin and bone.
You're gonna shake me off. Yeah, bro. That's a good point. 5-5-year-olds could take me on.
How many would you get through?
With a spinning method.
Before you tire yourself out and pass out from dizziness.
I reckon I'd get a good 30 in maybe.
You think you can spin 30 children around?
No, I don't.
Consecutively.
No.
Before you pass out from being dizzy.
I don't turn it into a game for the 5-year-olds, like line them up and give them all a spin. I'd grab one 5-year-old and use him to twat the other 5-year-old as I spin.
Yeah, but you think you could do that while hitting 30 children before you trip over yourself or throw up?
Yeah.
I think you'd get about 2 in and then fall over.
No, because see, I'd be able... That's why you beat a couple of up from the start.
Give a broken nose.
As you can tell, I've spent a couple of hours on toilet thinking about this.
It is proper toilet humour.
I do, obviously, first rule of Zombieland, cardio.
Yeah.
4th rule, limber
double tap.
up. Oh yeah, the double tap, yeah. Bro, I can't... Go Rocky Balboa on him. No, it'd be like me. I'd be that video. Have you seen Mike Tyson when he's like fighting with Hezbollah? The little guy, and he just picks him up and that's nibbling. That'd be me on every 5-year-old.
The problem is with that clip though. Mike Tyson definitely thinks Hezbollah's just like a 5-year-old.
Well, did you see Hezbollah got cancelled?
Yeah, for hitting his cat.
His cat. That's probably like a Black Panther next to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine to a cat his punches feel too bad. Apparently he's got a pretty stiff jab on him though. So who knows?
What have you been? Who've you been talking to? Punch.
I've just seen people talking about him on podcasts like this.
Well, I've seen. Well, I've not seen. I've heard people think he's not real. They think he's a robot.
I think Din Grogu's real from Mandalorian. That thing. There's a picture of where like the actor who played Kelleran Beck, Ahmed Best, and Jar Jar Binks. Of where he's like taking like a selfie with Grogu, and it generally looks like Grogu, the puppet of Grogu, is giving him snide eye while doing it. And since that picture, I'm convinced that thing was made in a lab. Also, the fact that it can steal stage presence from an actual actor.
Well, no, Hacker the dog does that.
That's true.
Hacker
was the Grogu before Grogu.
Well, I'll show you after this. Do you know the guy who does Hacker the dog? He puts his clips online of him, you know, when he's doing his bits, and he literally has a little roller chair he lies on. He has one hand inside the puppet, and then his other hand does the hands, and he does the voice talking at the same time. He has a screen next to him so he can see what the screen sees, and he literally does all the fucking money. It's actually well quality to watch, but it gets me. So I like the fact that they do Grogu as a mix of CGI and puppetry, because I think that's a good
thing. And also the CGI isn't too much.
No. It's when it's there's literally I think it's like the second.
It's when you see him running. That's where the uncanny valley kicks in.
When it's the slow walk, bro, and you see like the lights behind him, and it's just sort of like it reminds me of Team America.
Yeah,
it's like Team America.
Yeah, that's the only thing they really need to fix with Grogu. I think we also need to just see Grogu grow up as well.
Yeah, I said that to you, didn't I, bro? He's still a pussy.
We just need him to grow up.
His daddy still needs to come and save him, and that's what gets.
Although he did save his dad sometimes. He saved his dad during the red people fight.
That is true.
He used a boss.
Right, well, I think I'm going to call that end of an episode, Joe, because we could keep going for hours, bro.
Yeah.
But I am dying for a drink, and I've actually, honestly loved this chat. So, thank you very much for coming on and doing this for me.
Anytime, pal.
You know, I'll probably get you on again and that, because we can just talk for pure England and that.
That's what it's about.
Also, I have a little fart. I'm just going to...
Oh, cheers, mate.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Whew.
So, good job I can't smell anything right now.
So, this has been the Atypical podcast with my special guest... Joe, and for my second episode, my mum wants to come on.
Brilliant.
So I generally think, without the farts, I might get my mum to sit down with me. And we'll have a little chat with my mum and
that would be very interesting.
Yeah, get a pensioner's point of view. No, she's not that old.
She's going to kill you, she wears that.
Yeah. So, that's the end of the episode. Thank you very much, and tune in for the next one.
Whoop, whoop.